Everyone, welcome to Muddy Beard's 4x4. If you guys have a Jeep Wrangler TJ and you've failed emissions due to excessive readiness monitors not being ready, then this is the video for you. So my story is when I built the front end on my Jeep, I had it totally torn apart for quite a long time. I don't know, probably like 8 months or so. I had the battery disconnected because I was welding on the frame. So I got my front axle project done, got everything put back together, hooked the battery back up, and by that time my tabs had expired from the year before because they'd been sitting for like 8 months. And I went to go get the emissions tested because it was due at that time, and it failed due to excessive readiness monitors not being ready. So basically anytime I went four-wheeling, since I didn't have tabs on, I had to get the a trip permit, which is like 30 bucks and gets expensive over time. Failed it the first time. It had 3 readiness monitors not ready. So the catalyst monitor was not ready, the oxygen sensor, and the heated O2 sensor was not ready. So in Washington here, you can have only 2 readiness monitors not ready. So as soon as you go to 3, it'll fail it. So anything less than 3, 1 or 2, it's still going to pass emissions. But I had 3. So I went to all on the forums and found, and Google searched, and I found the Chrysler DRIVE cycle, which should run all of the monitors from the computer. So the computer will run the checks for the O2 sensors, the heated O2 sensors, and the catalyst monitor. So I put my Jeep on jack stands and I drove it every day for a week through these drive cycles. And I'll put this up on the screen and I'll show you what exactly I did to get these monitors to actually shut off. So I tested it once and it failed, tested it twice. It failed again for the exact same thing. And in between that time, I had driven it probably 500 miles and I went four-wheeling probably like 3 times. So I was really hoping that they had shut off and run all of its checks by then. I had assumed that, which I was incorrect, because when I went the second time, failed again, all exactly the same. So I'm hoping you can see here on my scan tool, see the 3 flashing monitors here. I don't know how close I can get and still be able to read it. But those are the 3 checks that have not run. The catalyst, the oxygen sensor, and the O2 sensor heater. So I have no codes, but you can see these readiness monitors, these 3 right here, are flashing, which means that they have not run their checks yet. So what I did to get my readiness monitors turned off is I put it up on jack stands and I ran it through the drive cycles. You have to do this with a half a tank or more, in my experience, as it will not run the checks, because I did it before in the past with less than a quarter tank and it did not run the checks. It will not do it. So this last time I ran it with more, I had probably 3/4 of a tank of gas. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to jack up the rear, throw some jack stands underneath it. So now I got it all safe and secure on jack stands. Plenty of room underneath here for the tire to spin where it's not going to hit the ground. Just going to chalk the front tire and I'm going to start running it. Okay, now that we got operating temperature, I'm going to drive above 25 miles an hour for 2 minutes. But with my gearing, my 25 miles an hour, my speedometer, I would be going maybe like 5 miles an hour. So I need to go at least, to be above 25, I need to be going at least 40, 45 on mine. So I'll just slowly accelerate. Probably about 40. Oh. It says above 25, so once we get it steady, there we go, and then I'll just start a timer on my phone for 2 minutes, and then we're going to go ahead and stop and idle for 30 seconds. And then we want to drive between 30 and 40 miles an hour. So just to be safe, I'm going to be going probably on my speedometer 50 miles an hour to make sure that I'm above 30. So once I get it where I want it, get it steady for a second, and I'll just drop it back down to idle and idle it for 30 seconds. And you continue to do that exact same step 5 times. So up to 30 to 40 miles an hour, steady, go down the idle for 30 seconds. Up to 30 to 40 miles an hour, steady, back to idle for 30 seconds. And you want to do that 5 times. And once you've done that 5 times, you'll shut it off, and you just gotta wait for 10 minutes. And then come back and recheck it with your scan tool. So now we're gonna check and see what the scan tool reads. It's linked now, and we got 2 that are still on, which that is still passing because we need less than 3. And that's the catalyst and the O2 sensor. So now I got it where it's going to pass emission. Let's go get it tested. Sweet, finally passed. Now I can get taps for the first time in 2 years. Pretty exciting. This right now, I have 2 readiness monitors. Yesterday when I went and actually had the emissions tested, I only had 1. Okay guys, let's wrap this up. This is what worked on my Jeep. Everyone's Jeep is going to be a little bit different. You might have a different readiness monitor that hasn't run yet. So make sure you check out, hopefully I'll be able to put the link in the description section that has the whole document that has all the different drive cycles, so you can go to each specific one depending on which ones are not run on your vehicle and drive it specifically through that cycle, and hopefully it works out for you. And make sure you don't have any codes in your computer, because that is also going to be an issue. Make sure you guys check us out on social media, Instagram, Facebook, and subscribe to our channel by clicking up here. And you can watch some of our other videos by clicking down over here, and we'll see you on the trail.